Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this is No More Watch. Bye. Next time. Again, I'm not in my office. I don't work as long as I used to. I'm at home tonight. But look, I have a subject. Many of us know about the white female in Minneapolis who was unalived by ICE. And there's been a lot of outpouring of grief for her. But how many of you have heard of Keith Porter? I'm going to say his name again, Keith Porter. He's a 43-year-old Black American citizen, not African American, but Black American citizen. On New Year's Eve, he went out to shoot his gun in the air just like everyone else in the neighborhood was doing. An off-duty ICE officer in plain clothes came to him. Many say he claimed the man shot at him. Now, you think that man shot at him? They said the man had an assault rifle. Do you think if he shot at him with an assault rifle, it's not as many times as an assault rifle shoot? It's hard to miss. But many of the witnesses say he just came outside and shot him. But see, without video, it's hard to collaborate because, as with Black people, you have to just about have a video. Look at all the Black people who've been unalived by police and others. Nothing happened unless there was a video. And then still they try to tell you, don't believe your lying eyes. What happened before the video started? But look, the reason I say that, if you remember during Martin Luther King, I'm not getting off subject, but I have to build up to my point. Martin Luther King didn't talk about integration. That was other people doing it, lunch counters and all of that. Martin Luther King spoke of freedom. The reason he spoke of freedom is because Black people were still under Jim Crow. Jim Crow was just a semi-form of slavery they put us in because Black people had started prospering. Anytime Black people start prospering, they put us under a form of this sort of Reconstruction. Under Jim Crow, white people, even though unaliving people was against the law, white people didn't necessarily have to face charges for it when they unalived a Black person. That's the reason Emmett Till's murder. Oh, I'm saying the M word. Emmett Till unalived him. Person who unalived him boasted about what he did with the sheriff on the courthouse steps. They laughed about it. Sometimes law enforcement was involved in many of it. All the lynchings, burnings, no one was brought to justice. The riots, 1917 riot of East St. Louis, Tulsa. The reason they weren't brought to justice because under Jim Crow they weren't necessary. They didn't necessarily have to be. Any Black person over 60 years old wasn't born with the full rights of a citizen. There was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, Black people couldn't even testify against a white person in court. A Black policeman couldn't even arrest a Black person. I remember a police officer here in East St. Louis had told me he's retired now. He said that 5 years before he came on the force, a Black man couldn't arrest a white man. And he came on the force, I think he said in the late 70s. So let's not get it twisted. Things are not equal here. Now, even when it comes to crime, you see, Many people hadn't heard of Keith Porter, but they've heard of this white woman. You know why? Because she's white. Now, the ICE agent, his case was worse, I think, because I tell you why. He was minding his own business. He hadn't accosted anyone. The man accosted him. He hadn't bothered anyone. This woman, she did get into a verbal altercation with the ICE officers, which ICE has no business doing law enforcement. So that's what happened in LA. He had no business. ICE does not supposed to do law enforcement. But this woman, she did have a verbal altercation with them. The officer had no business standing in front of her car. But going by the standards that you put on black people in the past with these officers, he was justified. Me looking at it personally and morally and every way I could look at it, I don't think he was justified. But by going by the standards that you put on black people, he was justified. I got a gnat flying around. I hadn't seen my nose in a long time. But look, we have to be more concerned about our own. Not very many people know about Keith Porter. That's why I say you have to watch more than mainstream news now because they've been taken over by the regime. They're afraid to really give out any real news. They're afraid that this regime is going to take their license away or penalize them. So you have to look at, if you're going to look at them, you also have to look at, look on the internet also. Look everywhere for news because you're just not going to see it on the mainstream news anymore. They really can't even be trusted anymore. But I got a few videos to play there. This one here, excuse me. Play this one. This will show you a little bit about who Keith Porter was.
Now I understand why they kept what happened to Keith Porter a secret and didn't put it in the news, y'all. This story is sad. Y'all might have read several different articles about it that wasn't publicly exposed for nobody really to read about it. But come on, a simple little tea with Auntie, we definitely got to talk about it, y'all. This story here is disgusting, to say the least, y'all. This occurred on New Year's Eve. Now, I want all of y'all to take a trip. Think about when you was growing up into your adulthood. Think about it. What is something that we all do on New Year's Eve? I mean, I've seen it happen since I was a little bitty girl and I'm 38 years old. We go outside, we shoot fireworks, we pop bottles, we might kiss when the clock strikes 12, y'all, and we shoot guns. For as long as I can remember, y'all, since the beginning of the time, we shoot guns. So Keith Porter was outside his apartment, y'all, and he had a rifle, and he was celebrating the holiday by shooting his gun. We all do it. This ICE agent that came up out his apartment to come out there and tend to that man's business. That ain't the only gunshots that he heard that night, y'all. Everybody was shooting because that's what we do. And how can you tell the difference between fireworks and shots a whole lot of time? All you hearing is boom, boom, boom. So he takes his tail outside to where that man is at, y'all, and try to order him to put down his rifle while he in the front of his house. Now, am I saying shooting a gun is legal? No, but we all celebrate that way for New Year's Eve, and y'all know it. So this man tell that man to put down his gun, and of course he probably was like, why is you trying to tell me what to do with my stuff? I'm outside just trying to enjoy my New Year's, y'all. And he killed that man. He killed that man. That ICE agent committed murder, y'all. New Year's Eve? Come on, y'all. Y'all know what we all do to celebrate. You hear nothing but noise outside on New Year's. When is it ever quiet? When do you don't hear booms or nothing else? That's why that story was kept out of the news, y'all. 43-year-old man killed on New Year's Eve when everybody outside shooting. Why'd you pick him to try to go tell him to put down his rifle? It's disgusting to say the least, y'all. It's disgusting to say the least. That's why they keeping that story hush, hush, quiet, y'all. It all makes sense. This happened on New Year's Eve when everybody was outside shooting. Everybody was popping fireworks. Everybody was popping bottles and screaming and everything else, bringing in their new year. Bunch of bull if I ever seen it. This story ain't out enough, y'all. When you see this video come across your For You page, your timeline, or wherever you may see my face or hear my voice, man, share it out. Put it out there, y'all. Prayers going out for the Porter family, y'all. My heart goes out to y'all with every fiber of my being. That's a sad situation. So prayers going out for the entire family, and I pray that he get the justice that he truly deserves, and everybody knows that he deserves it. Very sad situation. Again, prayers going out to the Porter family. And as always, thank y'all for sipping a little more tea with ain't tea. Bye, y'all.
Yeah, that's what happened. But look, it's not that we do it; they do it too. They in the white neighborhoods, they shoot off weapons also. That's just not a black thing. Who do you think that we got it from? Them. So, but look, the big story has been about this white woman. I'm gonna get off into that later about what happened to her and why. And it's not gonna be pretty. But look, this man was shooting his gun, as she say. This undercover, well not undercover, off-duty ICE officer came out and accosted him about his gun. Many witnesses say he just came out and started shooting. But still, ICE is not law enforcement. They deal with immigrants, not enforcing laws. At least it used to be that way, but everything's changed now. Everything goes under Trump's regime. We don't have no rule of law anymore. Our rule of law is only what the Trump regime say it is. We don't have a constitution anymore. So people are still trying to abide by those laws that we don't even have anymore. So, you know, it's like what Trump and his regime says goes. Who's going to do something about it? Congress is afraid of them. The Supreme Court. We may need a military coup like these other nations have. They used to call them third world. Now you can see why they used to have it. When the rule of law break down, no one will enforce the law. Many times the military has to do it. And I wouldn't be sad if they did. It'd be better than what we got going now. Because, one thing though, it's really bad when black people don't even know about this man. I didn't know about it until a few days ago. And I'm looking all over the place for stuff. It was so buried. You know what? They're gonna keep it up. People gonna get tired, especially messing with these white folks. They're not like us. They'll tear this country up. See, they're trying to take this back to like the back to the 1890s. We don't live in that kind of world anymore. That's what Trump's trying to do. Where the white man just ran everything. You got a lot of white people who are tired of this white rule. I'm gonna tell you, you keep messing with them, they'll tear this country up. They're not gonna be coming at you peacefully. They don't do it that way. I don't either, really. But I know a lot of black people don't, but the majority of black people want to be peaceful. That's why people like me, we can't do it by ourselves. But look, these white people would tear this nation up like they did back in the 1800s. They tore Washington D.C. up over some jobs. You see, when they get angry, they get violent. Remember how Black Lives Matter got a little violent at the end? That's because it wasn't black people out there. Black people actually stopped protesting after Michael Brown and Ferguson. because they was out there for 4 months, every night. Armored vehicles, assault rifles, people dressed like soldiers. I don't know if they were National Guards or not. Those black folks wasn't scared. They didn't care. But then the outcome was the same. So they said, we have to think of a different tactic. These 1960s civil rights tactics not working anymore. So now other people are using our tactics that we didn't shed it. We're doing boycotting and all. And we're thinking of different strategies. But we'll let them protest. They protested for us. We appreciate it. But still, what they're not used to, let me get back on the subject. What they're not used to is the fact that this happened to a white woman. That wasn't supposed to happen. That's supposed to be reserved for black people. Because when they bring up that white woman, I can bring up Breonna Taylor, who was unalive while sleeping in bed. They kicked in her door. Sandra Bland, unalived in jail, which no one wanted to look into. Excuse me a second. And the lady, I can't remember her name. She called the police herself for help. They get there and unalive her. Or the man, I mentioned women first because this is, I was speaking on this white woman. But look, let's go down the list. Recently, there was a man who stopped a shooting at a Waffle House, a black man. He was the hero. He took the gun from the people. When he came out and the police was there, he came out with his hands up with the gun in his hand, which was a bad move. Even if you're the hero, don't walk out there with the police with the gun. Do something with it, but don't let them see you with the gun. You can get out there and tell them where the gun was at. I was thought it was better if he had put the gun in the back of his pants, come out, let the police search him, and then tell them what's going on. But he came out with his hands up with the gun. This white policeman shot him 4 times. He survived. But you know what happened? Oh, his family got he's getting $8 million for what happened. But we don't want nobody putting a price tag on us. But look, the white policeman, they found text. He texted some other policeman and said, I shot me an N-word tonight. I tried to kill him. I hate black people and I wish I could have shot some more. But you know what they said? That he's not going to be prosecuted because he's in a blanketed immunity. So a lot of people don't know this. These policemen are under blanketed immunity. Remember Trump said that? Policemen are under blanketed immunity. They can do whatever they want to you. If it look like it's going to get out of hand, he get ready to pull it. You got yours. You better pull yours. Because you don't want to be around here unalive and hoping somebody do something about it. Now you make sure he's unalive and hope his folks do something about it. I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6, if you know what I mean. They said, people told me before, don't talk like that. They're going to come get you. Well, they just come get me. Because I'm going to say what I have to say. But look, they're not worried about pipsqueak like me anyway. But the thing is, they're just they make a big deal of a one white woman. They're not used to this happening. And that's the reason why this happening. I'm gonna get to that later. I'm kind of getting off subject. I'm gonna get back on subject. But look, there were all of these black people who've been unalive. Now they act like this is something new. But you know what the difference is? These ICE agents aren't trained. They're Proud Boys, Nazis, Klansmen, who Trump and all them recruited. Remember when he told them to stand back and stand by? That's what he meant. when Biden beat him. That's why he was so angry when Biden beat him. This was supposed to happen in his second term. But what happened is they're not trained. But the people who have been unaliving black people were trained policemen, not ICE agents. They were trained policemen. The one who unalived the man I just told you about, somebody he wish he could have shot some more black people. He was supposed to be a trained city policeman, not an untrained, half-witted ICE agent. So it's even worse. But no one's saying his name. His name is Keith Porter. And I'm going to keep it out there. Anytime somebody say her name, what's her name? Well, I ain't going to even say her name. But I'm going to say his name, Keith Porter. Because if you're not going to respect ours, I'm not going to respect yours. And that's just the way it is with me. If you hate mine, I hate yours. If you like mine, thanks. But look, we have a long history of this. See, we don't have see, with this man, they didn't have a video. If there was a video, you would see that most of these reports, it's even police reports and them lies. They found that out in Ferguson. When they came in and investigated and saw what really happened, they said most of those police reports don't be nothing but lies. When it comes to black people, there was one man who was even charged. It was a black man they hit by mistake, and he was bleeding. They charged him with destruction of city property because some of his blood got on a policeman's shirt. And then look at Lamont Arbery. Do you realize that the prosecutor, the one who unalived him, used to be an ex-policeman? He was dating the prosecutor. They let them go, said no, there was no crime here. A black man all by himself gets shot down while he's jogging. He has no weapon, but there's no crime. So then one of the friends, I guess he's the dim-witted friend, well, all of them dim-wits for what they did. He gonna bring a video to show, well, I'm gonna show you, we did nothing wrong, and the video is what convicted him. He showed the unaliving, the unjust unaliving on the video, and thought that was gonna exonerate them, and that's what got them thrown in jail for life. Excuse me. Then we have the man in Keith Porter. Had that been a video, it would be different. Trayvon Martin. There was no video. Let me tell you about these people of color. See, when it came for us facing up against the people of color, those people of color was treated as an honorary white. Because George Zimmerman, who unalived Trayvon Martin, he was a Hispanic. You can look at him and see it. He's Hispanic. You can consider his mother, I think his mother Hispanic, his father Latino, but I thought they were both the same, really. But still, they treated him as an honorary white. Young man on his way home from the store, walking home with some tea and some candy. On his way home to watch the NBA Finals, you approach him. Well, you approach him, he figure you ain't no business approaching him. So a fight ensues. Because this man, who's the aggressor, is losing the fight. He shoots the young man. They said he was standing his ground. How you standing your ground on a fight that you started? You're the aggressor. Because there was no video. Well, Trayvon Martin should have been one standing his ground. He wasn't the aggressor. How's the aggressor standing his ground? But they let it go that way. Now, Trayvon's father had texted me once. He was angry with me because of something I said. I said, I'm sorry that he feel that way, but I didn't apologize for what I said because I would have been lying because what I said was true. I would have dealt with it. My son, I'd have dealt with Zimmerman. I would have dealt with him. And we may have to get to that sometime. We black people, we depend on this system to help us. So we depend on the same system that hate us, the same system who do unjustly by us to bring us justice. Nobody got some money. Who, like I said, we don't want you putting a price tag on our loved ones' head. As long as we get some money, we don't want that money. We want our people. We'll take it because they gone. But you think these people get that money back to get their people back? They would. They don't be putting no price tag on our loved ones' head. You don't put one on. Well, y'all might. Now I don't know about y'all. Y'all might put a price tag on your loved ones' head. Them folks, they just may do it. They love money so much. But look, I know y'all talk about. Oh, you talking about the folks? Look, I'm talking about the people who do that. If you don't do it, don't worry about it. That's it. I'm not going to distinguish between you because when it comes to us, nobody's to distinguish between us. They'll say black folks do this, black folks do that. They're not concerned about the ones who don't being offended, and I'm not concerned about the white people who don't being offended. If you know it's not you, then I'm not talking about you. But I'm not going to sort between you because you don't sort between us. But look, let me get back on the subject. I'm talking right now. I'm talking about the unalivings that happen to us, and they get away with it. And now they want us to be all broken up when it happened to one of them. Look, the Emmett Till, like I told you, they boasted about his unaliving on courthouse steps with the sheriff. But that was during Jim Crow. They weren't obligated to face charges. But they would be charged, but they would never convicted. Michael Brown. I used to take some kids that played ball for me. I used to take them home and go down the street every Saturday and Sunday. Well, Michael Brown was unjustly unalived. And they have markers, asphalt, big asphalt with police cruisers set. There's a smaller asphalt in the road where Michael Brown's body lay. Now they say, remember there was no video. They say that Michael Brown was maybe 250 or more, over 6 feet tall. He was hitting him in the face trying to get his gun. But yet when they showed his photos, they showed him walking to the police station. He didn't have a mark. Like they went in there and BITC, you know what, slapped him a few times, put some marks on his face because a big man like Michael Brown was busting you in your chops. You're not gonna look like somebody just slapped you. And you know what? They slapped the wrong side of his face. Now, if someone was outside your car hitting you, wouldn't your? I should have got that picture. I meant to get that picture and post it up. I'm gonna see if I can get it before I leave here. If someone was hitting you outside the car, hitting you, wouldn't your injuries be on the left side? He's in the car. He's in the driver's seat. The injuries would be on the left side. The little red that they showed was on his right side. They say that he shot Michael Brown while he was trying to get his gun. But you know what happened? The thing in the road was the police cruiser, because they put this as like a memorial. Where the police cruiser sat and the smaller one where Michael Brown's body laid, they're about 50 feet apart. Now, how did he get so far apart if he shot him while he was trying to get his gun while he was sitting in the car? But there was no video. Anytime there's no video, they get away with it. And they try to let them get away with it when there's video. I guarantee you, had there been a video with Michael Brown, he would have been convicted. They were trying not to let Chauvin get convicted from George Floyd. Every time there's no video, they walk. And these video cameras are some of the best things that happen with black people as far as justice is concerned. They walk every time when there's no video. As I said, Lamont Arbery, people got away when there was no video. There was no video for Keith Porter. That's why this ICE agent is going to get away with it. And knowing the way it is now, with the Trump regime, that can be video, and they'll still get away. Something's going to happen. People are not going to keep putting up with this. I mean, you got these people talking about they want a race war. It's a civil war, what they need, not a race war. This hurting them more than us. When I read Project 2025 last year, I said to myself, bring it on. This is going to hurt them more than us. They're going to bring judgment on them. That's part of what's happening with these. You know, they're going through what we always went through, but they excused it every time it happened to us. They don't want to hear about Keith Porter. See, this wasn't supposed to happen to a white woman. White people weren't supposed to be hidden with pepper bullets and all that. White priest out there with his hands up praying, he's shot in the head with a pepper bullet. That wasn't supposed to happen to us. You know what all that was getting prepared for? Us. But we're not out there. And Trump, he's so evil, he don't care about white people. He only cares about rich people. They made this woman out to be a terrorist. Black folks, don't move your car with these folks. If they do that to a white woman, just think what they'll do to you. Don't get out there with those people. And waiting when this first started, they told black people to stay out of that. These 8 black women in Philadelphia, they're gonna go out there with those white folks. There was only 8 arrests made. I think they said 1,800 people. Out of 1,800 people, 8 people were arrested. Guess who they were? They're 8 black women. They want to get us out there, but we're not capitulating. We're not falling for it. Not in numbers. Because they're now get the green light to unalive white folks. To treat them like they're the new N-word. So don't get out there with that stuff. Here's another one on Keith Porter. I want to play this one for you to see on Keith Porter.
I'm just not finding out a man named Keith Porter lost his life by an undercover ICE agent on New Year's Eve celebrating New Year's. Why I'm just not finding out this? Why ain't this getting the same press and same coverage as Renee being unalived by an ICE agent? Now, this was an undercover ICE agent. Like, what are you doing? An undercover ICE agent walking in a neighborhood in LA late at night, 12 o'clock at night when the ball dropping. Said the ICE agent told officials that he ordered the man to drop the gun and he didn't drop the gun, but his family said the man came out of nowhere and just shot him. Said allegedly his family saying the man came out of nowhere and just shot him. Said that Keith Porter was letting his weapon go off in the air. You know how they do on New Year's. They let the little shots go off or whatever. And said next thing you know, he was on the ground and he was fighting for his life. And he was unalived. Why am I just not finding out about this? Why don't this have the same press as Renee being shot? RIP to both of them, but this favoritism shit gotta stop. This white privilege shit gotta stop. Why don't the people know about this? Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Like, ICE just out here unaliving people. They just out here unaliving people, and as soon as they do it, they getting granted immunity. We ain't mad enough. We ain't mad.
We've never been mad enough. You know why? Had that been, you know, he wasn't the only one out there shooting. Had that been a black man shot a white man in front of all those people, he wouldn't be alive to see it. They would have dealt with him. We're too scared to stand up for ourselves physically. We too much expect the justice system, who's never given us justice to take care of everything. They should have let loose on him, just like he did Porter. Say he was off duty in plain clothes. So why was he able to walk away from that? But see, I know you say, oh, you shouldn't be saying that. I say what I want to say. I'm tired of all this so docile, tamed black folks. They got black folks so tamed. We stand there and watch a white man beat our mama. Black folks are just so tame. Look at the way those big old women in the Asian shop, they're a 90-pound black woman whoop up, 90-pound Asian woman whoop up butt. Man, stop, that ain't right. That same black woman would take on 2 or 3 black women. We're just tamed when it comes to other people. And I'm talking about all these people of color too. They don't like us. A lot of these policemen who have unalived black people, they were people of color. There was an Asian also kneeling on George Floyd's legs while Chauvin was on his neck. Chauvin, he wasn't a full white man. Look at a lot of these surnames of these officers who's unalived black people. We don't have no allies. The Africans are not our allies. The Somalians are talking against black people more than they're talking against white people. White people and Trump, they're still praising Trump after all he said about them. The Jamaicans, the Haitians, we don't have any allies. We all by ourselves, and they're all getting ready to catch us because judgment is coming on them. That's what's happening now. They're suffering more than we are. And they said, what did this white woman do that happened to her? Why would God let that happen to her? Well, I'm going to go biblical on it. Look, many times if you read the scriptures, there were people who went through certain things. Like a lot of black people went through slavery for maybe such a time as this. Don't you think maybe God looked out for their souls? If they was doing something for his will? Remember the man whose heel that was crippled? And the disciple asked, who sinned that he would be that this came upon him or his father? And Jesus told them, neither one. This was done so the glory of God could be revealed. Sometimes people go through stuff even though they had nothing to do with it. And what's her name? Renee Good? It may have been that way with her. Because they watched this stuff happen to us for a long time. They always had excuses. You should have complied. You should have done. You know what? If Renee Good was a black woman, you know what they'd be saying? Oh, she should have complied. Oh, she tried to run him over. You know that's what they'll be saying. She wouldn't have gotten the outpouring and the backing that this white woman got. Am I insensitive? In a way, I am. Because if you're insensitive to my people, I'm insensitive to yours. I'm not the turn the other cheek kind of guy. I just haven't reached that level, and I doubt if I ever will. I believe in both your eyes for an eye and all your teeth for a tooth. And we have to start thinking that, but we have to stop being such docile, scared people. Like we scared of everybody but each other. We kind to everyone but each other. We like everyone but each other. You see a black man come up to you to say something to you, you looking at them just as crazy as the white folks do. More than they do. Now you almost like, oh, what is the N word want? You suspicious of black folks just like everybody else is. And if you don't have respect for your people, how do you expect other people to have respect? When you want to call them out when they don't, well, you know you don't have respect for your people yourself. And you know that many other black people, when they find out about Keith Porter, they're gonna stay on this woman in Minnesota. I don't even want to call her name. They're gonna stay on that and forget about him. Because I'm gonna call his name. Her name's been called enough. Her name has been called enough. Because no one was calling Breonna Taylor's name. How long did that stay in the news? Who was talking about that? Even black people didn't talk about Breonna Taylor the way that they should. Sandra Bland, or the lady who, not a few months ago, called the police for help and ended up getting unalive by them. We're gonna have to put together our own people who may have to deal with these people. I'm getting tired of this. But I can't do it by myself. These people got to get dealt, but they're kind of getting dealt with now because what they've been doing to us is happening to them now. They're crying for welfare. They say, oh, we don't want no welfare. Those farmers, I hope they lose everything. You know why? The black farmers couldn't. I know I'm a little off subject, but I'm on black and white right now. The black farmers never got any subsidies. They had to create their own local markets. They, you know that many of those big white farms, they was getting like $1 million a year. Some of them not the farm. You know how much the black farmer was getting? They getting $1 million. The black farmers was getting $250. You can look it up for yourself. Anything I say about something like this, you can look up for yourself. I don't give my opinion on stuff like this. I give facts. But look, when the white farmers got COVID relief, billions of dollars they spent among them. The black farmers got nothing. The black farmers sued to get their money. The white farmers countered to and blocked it. Money that they had already got. I wouldn't give a damn what they lose. I wouldn't give a damn if they even lost their farm, their wife, their land, their dog, their cat, even their life. I wouldn't give a damn because of what you did to those black farmers. Because you don't give a damn when black people lose their life. That's about the only curse word I say. I don't say all that other stuff. That's really not a curse word. But look, I tell folks when they come on my show, you can fuss, but you can't cuss. Sometimes I almost do myself. I ain't no cursing person. But look, they don't care about you, don't care about them. Now I tell you another thing that happened. Remember Jasmine Crockett? Put this down. Excuse me a second. I've always had respect for Jasmine Crockett and still do, but she did something I didn't care for. She was on the Senate floor talking. She crying. She never mentioned Keith Porter. She's crying over this woman in Minnesota. I never seen her cry over anyone crying over her. I didn't see anyone crying over Sandra Bland or Breonna Taylor. I guarantee you, had there been video, those cops would have been charged. Well, they were, be honest. You know what? And to show you the insult to Breonna Taylor's memory and her family, the policeman got 1 day in prison. Like they were just trying to insult them. Just recently, about a month ago, he did 1 day. You know they were sitting there laughing about that. He said, oh, she got some money. We don't put no price tag on our loved ones. Because you may put it on yours. You are sick enough to do that. Put it on yours. Yeah, but look, we gotta quit loving our oppressors. She gonna cry over this woman, and we'll do that. You remember the white police woman who went into the wrong apartment, drunk, and the black went up in that black man's apartment and shot him and unalived him. Then she was in her own apartment. She went to prison. It just wasn't any way for them to get her out of that. The prosecutor sitting there rubbing her hair while she was being sentenced. The black female prosecutor, the black female judge gave her a Bible to read in jail. Put that hoe where she belongs. You black people ought to be ashamed. You, the black woman, did that. You should have been ashamed of yourself. Doing all that over that white woman, she done unalived the black man. She had unalived the black woman. I wouldn't have been nothing for her. I probably would have tripped her while she was walking out with them chains on. But look, we have to stop loving our oppressors and forgetting about our own. Keith Porter, he looked for a reason to shoot that man. He knew that man was out there celebrating. That's what people do on New Year's Eve. Is it legal? No. But ICE agents are not law enforcement officers. They're immigration officers. And you black people, you gotta be ashamed for letting him walk away from that. We gotta get to that point. And if they say, well, we would have brought in this and Brian, but they just have to come in. They just have to come in. And these people who disrespect us need to be put out of business. Assault one of us in our neighborhood, they need to be assaulted and put out of business. Time for us to stop playing. We've been playing with these people long enough. Judgment is on them. What has been happening to us is now happening to them. I don't care about Venezuela. I care about our people. Those people didn't care about us. No one cares about us. I still don't hear people talking about Keith Porter. Not even the black people. The ones who know about him. I didn't know about him for a while because I had to dig into other news. I heard about someone being unalived by ICE and everybody, I didn't know it was a black man. But this mainstream news is just not giving you good news. I'm gonna play something else for you. Listen to this one. This is a white guy talking about it.
That poor woman that got shot in Minnesota, do you know the one thing I noticed? And I want to know if you notice it. Do you notice this? I have yet to see a single person of color. Not a Hispanic, not a black person, not an Asian person. I have yet to see one person of color not have empathy or sympathy for what has happened. Overwhelmingly, 99% of all the she deserved it, and yeah, she should have done this, and she should have done that, and oh well, and all this, all the nasty comments come from angry, uneducated white people. All of them. I mean, 99% of them come from angry, uneducated white people. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Prove me wrong, because that's all I see. That's all I see is angry, uneducated white people going, well, yeah, she should have done this, she should have done that, you know. Not the fact that this guy pulled his gun and shot her 3 times from a couple of feet away, knowing full well he was going to kill her. And I don't want to hear, oh, he was in front of the car, he was not. You can clearly see he was on the side of the car. She posed no threat to him whatsoever. But he decided on the side of the car to take 3, not 1, 3 deadly shots right in her face. The problem that we have in this country is obvious. We have way too many angry, uneducated white people. That is the problem. I don't know how else to say it. Those are the people that voted to get us in this situation. Let me know what you think in the comments. I said what I said.
You know something? One thing I disagree with him about is the uneducated white people. They try to make it seem as though Trump supporters is just a bunch of country hillbilly hicks. The majority of them are, but not all of them. Look at the people in January 6th. These were policemen, firemen, state senators, state representatives. These weren't uneducated people. One woman flew in on her private jet. I told you this before. She flew in on her private jet to join in on that. See, these white people that say I do all this stuff against black people, they're not just the uneducated people. They're white people from all walks of life. No, let's not get it fooled. Not just uneducated white people. What black woman would fly in on a private jet to do something like that? She and her people would be on a jet on the way to Paris to do some shopping or something. She can afford a private jet, not around her trying to bust out windows and unalive folks, trying to overthrow the government. Well, no black woman get in no mess like that. Who can afford a private jet? You wouldn't see any black policemen going up to Capitol trying to unalive other policemen or firemen. Or you wouldn't see Senator Bill going to Washington D.C. busting out windows, or Latoya Greenwood, or I don't know who's state rep now. It's a Republican might have. Oh, Schmidt. I ain't gonna say his name. But when Latoya was a rep, she wouldn't went there busting out no windows. You wouldn't see our mayor going to Washington D.C. trying to overthrow the government. And what made it so bad? He was long gray beards, and you wouldn't see black people that age group doing some mess like that. That's one, but that's why I disagree with him on. See, I'm not saying I don't have empathy. You don't want to see anyone lose their life, but she was just, I believe she was just being used as an example to show what they've been doing to us. Our people get unalive. It's their fault. They get blamed. I can't say the M word on her because they're the center flags. That's why we say unalive. When our people get unalive, they get blamed for their own unalive. Trayvon Martin, he was to blame for his own unalive. Michael Brown, George Floyd. Oh, he was a drug addict. He died from a drug. No, he didn't. If you got any kind of problem and I do something to exuberate it and make you pass away, I'm responsible. There's a lot of people that have certain things, and it could be a person. They could be drunk. If I push them, do something, push them out in the street, or he was drunk already, I'm still responsible. Like he was drunk or he was staggering already, but I push him, fall out in the street, and he gets hit and unalive. Now I'm gonna say, yo, well, he was drunk already. See, we know better than that. We know. I have to say though, black folk, we gotta get us some balls, man. We let people. We're scared to get physical with people. But these white folks not. They gonna learn. They're not scared to get physical like we are. And if they keep messing with them, they'll tear this country up. They've done it before, like in the 1800s. But I want to show you another Keith Parker. I'm going to show you this. This is his daughter speaking. I'm going to show you this other one before his daughter.
I'm just not finding out a man named Keith Porter lost his life by an undercover ICE agent.
Keith Porter was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent in LA on New Year's Eve, and nobody is talking about it. Welcoming in the new year at 12 a.m., Keith Porter decided to shoot his firearm in the air with no pedestrians around, and then an off-duty ICE agent heard the gunshot from his apartment, decided to grab his immigration distributed firearm to go out and check the scene. He found Keith Porter there and shot him, resulting in Keith Porter's death. While it is a felony charge to shoot a firearm in the air in California, it is not bringing direct harm to anybody. He was not an active threat, and even many of his family and friends have come forward and described Keith as a very wonderful, positive person, including a father to young girls. However, many people, including Trump and his administration, are calling this ICE agent a hero and referring to Keith Porter as an active shooter, when this was clearly a celebratory action. Nobody deserves to be murdered for shooting a firearm into the open air around no civilians with no intent to kill. The police should have been called and should have handled this. This is not an excuse for murder, and certainly not by an off-duty ICE agent using their federally distributed firearm.
As I said, you know, ICE agents are not law enforcement. He's supposed to call the police just as anyone else should. And he know what happens on New Year's Eve when the New Year's come in. He know he was just they're looking for reasons to unalive people. These are Proud Boys, Nazis, Klansmen, and all these white supremacists signed the fires. That's what Trump meant by when he said, told them stand by and stand back and stand by. Because they've said, we don't have to protest anymore. We're in the government now. You know, but if you don't have your CCW, go and get it before they try to outlaw that. There's these people, I'm going to put the number up on my next podcast. They comes 88. You can get everything in 8 hours. The training, your certificate, and it's legit. Training, your certificate, the firearm, and your classes, all in 8 hours for $800. You be licensed to carry and have your weapon and trained on how to deal with it in 8 hours. And I suggest you take that route because they may try to stop the CCW classes. Because we can't always deal with everything without some prayers. Even the disciples with Jesus carried weapons. I don't know, maybe Jesus carried one. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just saying that because I don't know. But he sure turned over them tables, and I don't think he was using the kind language. You know, they say he was angered. He was getting on them, you know. They don't use kind language when they're angry. So listen to this. This is I wanted to listen to Keith Porter's daughter. Now that was someone told me said that black people not doing nothing about it. They've done a lot in Los Angeles. The news media just hasn't said anything, which they don't with black people. Watch this.
Black man was killed by ICE off duty in Los Angeles on New Year's Eve,
Oh
and
no, that's
like
not
Renee
the one.
Good,
But
he was an
listen to
American
this.
citizen. But most people have not heard about Keith Porter. I need y'all to think about and understand something. Black people experience this lack of visibility all the time when it comes to being victims. There are countless black victims that no one has even heard about, much less seen the public fight demanding answers and justice.
Keith Porter! Keith Porter!
My name is Anaya Porter. My father's name was Keith Porter Jr. My father's dead. He was killed by an off-duty ICE agent. It was unjust. And I've seen things I don't like, and I want to remind people that this is real life. This is my real life. This isn't news. This is an article I can just swipe away on. My dad's dead. Please respect him. Say his name. Fuck ICE and Black Lives Matter. Justice for Keith Porter Jr.
Keith Porter! Keith Porter!
That was Keith Porter's daughter. And you say, why is she on that cursing? Come on, this is 2025. A lot of these kids curse now, because let's face it, you've been cussing them out since they was 1 year old. Get your age here, you shut the F up. So when you expect them not to curse? But look, I want to keep his name out there also. That's why you see I'm not really even saying the other person's name. And see, even some white people, they're talking about it. That's why I say, when I mention things, I'm talking about the ones who are that way. I don't single out people because they don't single out us. When people say black people do things, they say black people. They don't single us out, so I'm not singling it out anymore. If you're not like that, then I'm not talking about you. Well, see, many, many white many white people have talked about this with Keith Porter. Not much is being mentioned. But see, there are many people who think all this is supposed to happen to black people. It's not supposed to happen to a black woman. They haven't seen this coming. They've been dragging white women. I said black women. I meant white women. That's supposed to happen to a white woman. See, they've been dragging white women in the streets, pregnant white women in the street, beating them, shooting them with pepper bullets and tear gas and flashbangs. Shot a white priest in the head twice with a pepper bullet, and he was out there praying. You didn't see this coming? We're not out there, so they have to target someone, and they bring their own video crew to record it, to put it out there. Sometimes when the people are marching peacefully, they just shoot some flashbangs into the crowd and make the people disperse so they can film it. I see, I'm going to tell you, you've been going along with these ruthless people all this time. Now they're on you. And you see how I feel? People can look at the video and still make excuses. Been there, done that with us. That make fun of us. We're always responsible for our own unaliving. We must have done something. Even with Keith Porter, by there not being a video, oh, he must have done something. The ICE agent, he did, you know what they're calling him? An active shooter. That's what this regime is calling him, an active shooter. No, the ICE agent was the active shooter. Those people out there should have been some active shooters too on him. After he unalived this black man. I'm gonna do a show one day on Carmelo Anthony. He's the black boy who's on trial for unaliving. He stabbed a white boy during an altercation at a game. They went to jump on him, and he just took her business. But I'm gonna do a show on that because they hate when our people stand up for themselves. They hate when we stand our ground. If they can stand their ground, we can stand our ground. We just gotta see what happens. Don't stand there and let somebody unalive you. And then your people got to sit back here marching, talking about justice for you. And they ain't been meaning to talking about justice to get me out. Now, don't let nobody don't stand around here and let these people do that to you. See, they're not up in here because there's no immigrants. They may try to find a reason. We have to be ready for them. I'm going to be ready for them. You all can take this if you want to. You sit here and these poor diets and drinking and smoking and everything tomorrow. You gotta leave here over something. Since you want to go pick that stuff to leave here over. We know you do, but you don't go looking for it. But look, but you can't leave here fighting for yourself or your people. But you can leave here for everything else over some turf that don't belong to you. But when it comes to sticking up for yourself, we gotta do it peaceful. I'm not doing nothing peaceful. Peaceful protest was coined for us. The other people saying, "But we helped you." Not when we really needed you. You helped us like with things like police brutality. That can happen to you. It's just a little hobby. You all did that happened back before the remember the hippies and all saying fighting against the man. Then I saw many white men say, "If daddy died, left me the business. Now I'm the man, and I used to fight against the man." That's what they called them, the establishment, the man. Now they're the establishment. They're the man. Anyone could fight over police brutality, but you didn't help us when it came to our rights. The rights that which we gave right through us rights came. They wouldn't even allow Asians and immigrants, most of the other immigrants over here until the civil rights bill that black people fought for. Then you want to come over here and disrespect us, trying to play like you're honorary whites. It worked until you helped elect Obama. Then you start talking about the browning of the United States because you used to vote Republican and never vote for a black candidate, but you fooled them that time. You've been in trouble ever since. But look, the we can no longer play with these people. All these other people, they all voted for Trump because they thought we were going to be one. You know, they thought we was immigrants and we were going to be deported. A lot of these people of color and the Africans, they thought we were. You know, there's a lot of Africans who don't even know about the slave trade. If you ask them what country they come from in Africa, they'll ask you which one you came from. You tell them about the slave trade, they don't know anything about it. You want to come over and tell us something. We don't have any allies. We have more white allies than we do people of color. The white immigrants who come from Europe, and expect them to start deporting some of them soon, they treat us better than the black and people of color immigrants. But since Europe and the United States, man, Europe talking about going to war with the United States. That get any worse. Expect to see some of these European immigrants deported. See, they got to keep some of us here because they need somebody to look down on in order to feel good about themselves. Because before then, they were, harming each other. Irish were the N-words. They used to be slaves at one time in Europe. So, but don't expect much from these people. They still don't care nothing about ours being on the line. They want us to care about theirs. I feel about yours the same way you feel about mine. Whichever way you feel, that's how I feel. So don't blame me, blame you. Keith Porter, that's his name. Keep saying his name. Anytime they mention that other name, I'm going to mention his name. Keith Porter. And listen, it's not going to last. I can see what's coming. Plain as day. People who've been hurting us for 400 years, judgment is upon them. Because they've had 400 years to get it together and keep getting worse and worse. Just go from where I want to do Billy Bob to one thing after another more strategic. They don't come at you physically now, put you in physical slavery. It's just like when they after slavery, the black people started prospering one generation after. That's when they started Jim Crow. It took black people's farmland, gave it to white people. That's how they built their generational wealth. When they say, "Oh, I didn't own slaves," but you're still benefiting from that system. Trump says that the white man is just one. He's being he's being mistreated. But I say, well, let's trade places then. Let the white people trade places with the black people since you're being so mistreated and we're not. How many of you want to trade places? You take ours, we take yours. Since you're being so mistreated, let us get mistreated like that. So you see, they are I lost my train of thought what I was talking about. I mean, but we can't keep on. Oh yeah, when I was talking about Jim Crow. See, Jim Crow was a semi-form of slavery. They took black people's land, made them sharecroppers. Many of the black people who were sharecroppers, that was like semi-slavery. My grandfather was one. They were sharecropping on land that used to be theirs, that was taken from them and given to a white person. They benefited from that. See, Jim Crow was a semi-form of slavery. It was like, I hate to use this analogy of like a pet, but let's say you got a pet, you got them by the house, got a little house for them, got them on a chain. They can only go a few feet. They're in bondage. Well, you build a fence. You take them off the chain by the house, they can still run around. They can run around in the yard. Got more room to run around in, but they're still in bondage. That was like slavery and Jim Crow. They think of other reasons. Now they're holding us in economic slavery. But see, the but we can't keep letting them keep doing this to us. Because they're not going to get any better. They had 400 years to get it together. And this thing is still now. You see what's going on with the black man and the white woman. All over the world, they're protesting her unaliving. And he has barely left Los Angeles. And I think his was worse because he didn't have an altercation with those ICE officers saying anything to them. And you black people, leave those ICE officers alone. They're not bothering you. Trying to tell them, have you got a conscience? What you're doing is wrong. They know it. They don't care. They want to unalive someone. Don't you all realize that by now? That's why he went out there after Keith Porter. He wanted to do that to him. It wasn't by mistake That's what he wanted to do. Like the woman in Minnesota, they showed his body cam after he shot. You know what he said? Effing B. That's the one who wanted to do that. I just wish, that's why we have to get more rings on our doors and more cameras set up so we can start capturing things in our neighborhoods. So when things happen, we can see what happens. So because without a video, we get no justice. We barely get it when there is a video. And just think how long before these cameras, back during the early part of the last century, all up to now, how much they've gotten away with, the things they've done to black people. If they can get away with it now, just think what was happening back then. Now we supposed to worry about everyone else. She's got no flowers and condolences coming in. I saved mine for Keith Porter. Well, she was used for such a time as this, to get some things done because they've been mistreating us a long time and it's time for it to stop. Now, I always said nothing short of divine intervention is going to stop it. They're like judgment has come on them. I told them when I read Project 2025 last year, this is going to hurt them more than it hurt us. I hate what happened to Keith Porter, but, nothing we can do about it. They said the GoFundMe for him was taken down. I wish they put it back up. And we have to start giving to our people GoFundMe. We have to stop being so cheap. Our problem is we want to support with our mouths. Because, see, they complain because black people gave Carmelo Anthony a few $100,000 for his defense. But yet a white woman can call a little black child with autism the N-word and get almost $1 million. May have gotten $1 million. But in support. I don't know if she ever got the money, but I know it had gotten that high. And the white people who can do wrong can raise a lot of money. But the black people, we won't give to black people for the right reason. They give, but not like they should get. We're cheap. I do the sports game for really. I always about, well, what you do? But they won't give no money. And now I may have to gate my content, but they have to pay to get in. I don't want to do that. I want it free for everyone, just sending a donation every now and then. Not have to be every game. But some games, when somebody asks me to send $100, $50, when I did it for those white folks, they're sending $1, $2, $3, $5, or more if they wanted to. I made more that one game than I did the whole season with black people. We love to talk, but we don't put our money where our mouth is. I'm going to see if they got another GoFundMe for Keith Porter. I'm going to give something. I'm going to give something. Because they can give to these other people. Why come we can't give to ours? And every time a black person get a GoFundMe, they accuse them, they taking the money, doing this, doing that. Why are you watching their pockets about what they're buying or doing? Like Carmelo Anthony, his was set up his defense. Only his lawyer can get that money. They talking about his family buying cars and houses. Why are they watching their pockets? What is that white woman who called a little black for the N-word? What did she buy with hers? Did you check to see that out? You're always worrying about what we're doing. We live in their heads 24/7. They're all over our social media pages with all type of same old stuff they've been saying for 400 years, like it's supposed to move us. We have to stand with our people, and when they're unalive, we have to stand with them then. And we got to watch out for our women and children, make sure, and our brothers too, but especially our women and children. They're more vulnerable, and not let these people harm them. They do, we have to start making them pay a price, a heavy price. Not no getting out there marching peacefully. Like I told you before, I don't believe in no peaceful protest. That's why I don't protest. You can hurt me in mind. Then when I get ready to retaliate, somebody's got to be peaceful. You wasn't peaceful. We can sit and talk after I bust you up, son. We both sit there messed up. You're not gonna be in good shape, and I'm all messed up, and we're gonna talk. You think that's gonna be an equal talk? You gotta know you're gonna give as good as you get. Get as good as you give. Then we can talk. Gotta get my lick back because I'm just petty like that. I go tit for tat. If you notice, the person responding is always petty, but not those who gave you a reason to respond. Now they're saying that black people are racist because when we respond to stuff, black people have never been racist. We can be racial, but not racist. And when we respond to things, it's because of stuff they did. And I don't think we respond strong enough. We're too light. We're trying to prick their conscience. They don't have a conscience to prick. They haven't been pricked in 400 years. What makes you think it's going to be pricked now? And like I said, you saw some white people giving good statements on here. Well, some of the part about, what the white guy said, the part about, I forgot, so I'm not going to bring that up. But look, we have to respond strongly to these people. And they know we get you say, oh, they get all the guns, you know what? Stop that. Stop it. People all over the world have fought great powers. Basically, we're just scared. Black people just scared. You do it for everything else. Oh, I stand up for my boys. Oh, I stand up for my church, my gang. Oh, when it comes to your people, we gotta march peaceful. You're not peaceful, I'm not peaceful. We gotta take that into heart. I'm not trying to strike up something going on and all that, but well, we gotta do what we gotta do. That's saying, get your CCW. If not, still be ready. But you ready to be tried by 12 or carried by 6? We're gonna have to get ready. Might be something coming our way. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm just saying just be ready if it does. We can't keep letting these Keith Porters go on. And then they all find family some money. Like our loved ones has a price on their head. So think about that. And we have some Martin Luther King Day program. The city manager sent me some things he wanted you to see. These supposed to be some projects coming up. Let's say for the city. And no, that's not it. What's the other one? This is the other one. I'm the technician and everything, we got the host and all of it. Oh, but I want you to see this Martin Luther King Day program. It's gonna be at New Shining Light Holiness Deliverance Non-Denominational Church at 740 Broadway in Venice, Illinois on Sunday. And it's going to be at 1 o'clock, right after morning worship. So just come and join them for morning worship and stay for the service. And there's going to be another one at Mount Sinai Baptist Church. That's sponsored by the I Have a Dream Committee. That's going to be on Monday. And what is Monday? The 20th? I believe Monday is what? 20th, yeah. So, Sunday's the 18th. I can't see. Yeah. On Monday be the 19th. You're going to have a program there. I'm going to live stream that one. Come out to it. It's going to be Monday at 12 noon. And then come to New Shining Light at 740 Broadway in Venice, Illinois. As Bishop John H. Williams is the pastor. It's going to be at 1 o'clock, but you can come for the morning worship also. Just stay for the program. I think the morning worship started at 10:30. So come on through. Because see, we can still celebrate ourselves. We don't need permission to celebrate King or anything, Kwanzaa, anything else we want to celebrate. Juneteenth. You see how Cinco de Mayo is a big holiday for the Hispanics and Latinos. It's not sanctioned. It's not recognized by the government. See how big it is? Matter of fact, we have more black people at Cinco de Mayo than we do at Juneteenth and Kwanzaa combined. We go to other folks more than we do our own, but they don't come to ours. When we go to those Jamaican concerts, how many real Jamaicans you see there? They don't want to come to our stuff. How many Asians now? White folks will come to our stuff before these other people will. The Somalians in Somalia, in Minnesota, they're still talking against black people. We haven't done anything to them. They're not talking against these other people, just against us. The Latinos still speaking against us. Come help them. The hell with you. You tell us in one breath, come help you, and then the next, calling us the N-word. Where we at? We're where we want to be. If we want to help you, we be out there. You don't have to come and ask us. We go where we want to go. We didn't ask you. See, these other people that was there for all that police brutality, but when we was fighting for life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and for our very existence, they weren't there. They came out after they saw they on the Edmund Pettus Bridge where the black people was brutalized. They only came for the brutality, not for our rights. Only we fought for that. And I say we, I'm talking about black people. Even if you weren't born then, I should still say we, as your ancestors. And so we did that. And see, so we appreciate any help we get. And I want to touch on this. Remember when the white woman, Merlin Louisa, was unalive helping the civil rights workers? And they were looking, they weren't really looking for them. She had a black guy with her giving them a ride to register. She was actually Jewish, I believe. And see, like at that time, Jews was hated second only to blacks in this nation. They didn't always love Jews here. That's why many Jews had to live in black neighborhoods. That's why they call it black neighborhood the ghetto. The meaning of ghetto is a Jewish or Hebrew neighborhood. That was the real meaning of it. But look, they when they remember the other three civil rights, but the white woman, they were looking for her. The other three civil rights workers, Wilson, Goodman, and Cheney. I think Goodman, one of them was black and there was two white guys. They were looking for the white guys. They weren't thinking about that black guy. Because when they dragged the river looking for their bodies, they found 40 other black bodies that hadn't been reported. No one knew anything about it. Probably just their relatives had been looking for them. If they try to do anything about that, they bring anyone to justice. Because back then it wasn't really required to unalive a black person. Unaliving were illegal, but not if it's a black person. That's why no one was ever brought to justice for those murders. Not unless it was just something just so big that they couldn't sweep under the rug. Like when they drew in Jasper, Texas, they got a drew behind the truck. I forget his name. Black, that was so big, even though it was a big, there was no video. They couldn't let them get away with that. They knew that would have sparked some in black folks. They don't want to see us get started because they always talking about a race war, but then they go unalive some of their people. Talking about they tried to start a race war. Now we're gonna start a race war because they unalive some white folks. And then when Darling Wolf did it to the people in the church, he unalived the black people. They knew that was they got him quick because they knew that was something that better not keep up. And the police took him out to dinner before they took him to jail. So I think it's time for us to be a little more physical. This peaceful stuff not working. I'm not saying going out just start fights. We don't start fights. But when people come at us and do something to one of ours, we got to do something to one of theirs. We can't keep letting them get away with it. As if, well, there's no penalty. People just keep on doing the same thing over and over again to you. And you can leave here for all these other ridiculous reasons. Take a chance on that. Because we can't keep taking it. We've taken enough of this. Eyes get unalive. Only one hear about theirs is all over the world. Breonna Taylor wasn't all over the world. Sandra Bland, none of these black women, they weren't all over the world. And make fun of ours. And we can't keep letting that go on. We gotta care for ours just like they care for theirs. Put this out about Keith Porter. That's what we need to be putting out there. They're not putting it out there. Remember when they say her name, I'm gonna say Keith Porter. And anyone else can say whatever they want to. We gotta keep ours lifted up, just as they keep theirs lifted up.
Keith Porter! Keith Porter!
Keith Porter, say his name. Now, I know I've been getting a lot of texts and I've been getting letters because it's people who watch my program who you wouldn't believe what, wouldn't think watch. I've been called anti-Semitic, race baiter, all of that. I'm not saying I'm all that, but I'll be all that if I want to be. I'd be anti-Semitic about them. I didn't say I was, I didn't say I wasn't. But if you talking about if you call not liking the stuff Israel do, or not liking the stuff the Jews do, being anti-Semitic, then you take it that way. I don't say nothing about the Jewish religion, but I wouldn't, if I didn't like it, that'd be my business. Do the Jews like the Muslim religion? Do they like the Christian religion? The Jews over there persecuting Christians, they've always persecuted Christians in Israel. So if you talk about that, that make you anti-Semitic? But them persecuting the Christians supposed to be okay? Because Jews are doing it. They persecute the Hebrew Israelites over there. Come on, sending them to Ethiopia and all that. You get out of that land. That's not your land. When did the Hebrews become all white? That's a mess that the United States set up for you because they felt guilty about World War II. You know you're imposters in that land. Yeah, everybody's scared to say. I say what I want to say. You want to say a person anti-Semitic because they don't go along with what you do, and you Palestinians. I'm not thinking about you either. I know about how you treat those black people over there. They had one strip of land where the black 11,000 black people in the Gaza Strip, they can only stay in this one area called Al Habib, which means the slave. The black women couldn't walk down the street without being bothered, called all kind of names. Like I said before, even those who are under oppression still find the time to oppress people who look like us. That's why I don't have no pity for none of you. You've been treating us wrong. You just get what you get. And see, I'm gonna tell you what got them black people in trouble. Before I go off, I know I'm end up into some other stuff. I have to do it sometime. I can't just me. I can't always stay on point by myself. But look, those black people in Chicago let those Salvadorians in the building. They dumped them up there because it was a sanctuary city. They didn't have anywhere to go. But they should have took advantage like the others did, the Mexicans. The city gave them money, food stamps, and other housing. When there was black folks homeless in Chicago, a lot of black people were saying maybe I should go across the border and come back and get all that stuff those immigrants are getting. They let them in the building. They run the electric cords out to the building for heat and electricity and gave the folks clothes. That's why ICE came up in that building in Chicago. Not after those black people. They detained them, but they didn't deport or arrest them. They were after those Salvadorians that was in the building. You just said some of them was gang members. Now, do you think if they had dropped them off in the port, some black immigrants in the Puerto Rican side of town, they would have let them stay? They'd have dumped them or ran them out of there, or dumped them over in the black areas to get them out of here. You should have dumped them off to their Puerto Rican cousins and get out of our neighborhood. We're too gracious. No one's gracious with us. Even the people in Somalia and say people we jealous of them, they drive nice cars, but we do that too. Because they all concentrated in one area, we're spread out. Black people in the United States has an income second only to white people. If we were a nation, this is our buying power. Not all we got, but just with our buying power. We would be the 17th richest nation in the world. And if you include our spending power, that would be even more. But see, what happens is our money just don't stay in our area and circulate. It goes in and right back out. That's why it's looking at our spending power and not all we got. Just think if that spending power was among us. But they set that up against us. They brought these immigrants in. Well, only they give them loans to set up business in our neighborhoods. Our people can't get it. And the money go from here, our hands to theirs and out of our community. Go build up other communities. It don't turn over in our neighborhood. Then, and now like in East St. Louis, where is it going to turn over at? We don't have many black businesses. And then many black people who own businesses in black areas, they take the money out. They don't live in the area. Our city need to give loans or find a way to help people who live here to open a business up. Give them a break, help them open. Because all these big money projects, that's not going to help money turn over. Those people who have those big money projects, you think they're going to spend that money in St. Louis? The city's going to get some tax money. That money going to leave out of here too. Go build up all these big name projects and around the city, big projects, and it looks good. But what money is? But that money is not going to turn. We need money that's going to turn over in the city. We don't need you to come and build some big beautiful place. See, when they had those jobs downtowns in those clubs, those people lived in the city. That money was turning over. That's the type of projects I'm talking about. It's nice to have nice things, but we need something that's going to turn over money in this city. That's what we need. Because most of the people who make money here don't live here. The business owners don't live here. So they just as bad as the Arabs and the Koreans. They're taking the money out also. I know I'm on a different subject, but you know, where it is. They're taking the money out also. You cannot prosper without economics. You're gonna keep crying about why my city look like this and theirs look like that. Because the wealth of your city is up there helping them build theirs. Same way like in Africa, the wealth of Africa help build everywhere else. They treat us like that all over the world because we love them folks too much. Sitting up Jasmine Crockett crying about that woman, but never mentioned Keith Porter. And I'm a strong supporter of Jasmine Crockett. So don't think I'm hating on her. This is the first time I ever said something about something she did. And if she do it, I'm gonna say it about her too. She crying over that woman in Minnesota and never mentioned Keith Porter. That's what we do. Why do we love them folks so much? They don't love us. No one does, really. We don't have any allies. We're all by ourselves. So black men and women need to stop this. But you know, black women this and all that. We used to say black people. Now they got us separated on that. It used to be the black boat. Now we separated, and it's not the men doing it, it's the women. Anytime black women supposed to well, black women, black men say black people. We're looking out for our people, not our gender. If you all want to go that route, we can go that route too, and we'll win. Y'all won't. You're not gonna win without us. We're the ones who said strategy and build. You don't. Now, since black women and the feminist movement, since you've taken over, running things, we haven't advanced. That was in the late 70s when they started that feminism. We said, oh, we know how to get them now. We're going to separate the black woman from the black woman had a saying back in the 70s. They used to walk around and say, the black man, the man ain't S.H. you know what. They used to say that all the time. But black men weren't saying that about black women. When black men talk about progress right now, you women might get mad, but you know I'm telling the truth. That black man is going to say black people. You're going to say black women. The biblical Fox going around saying, when you say black people, you're not talking about black women. Okay, you keep that up, biblical. You're gonna FAFO. Try to go by yourself and see what happens. Remember Keith Porter, you know, we gotta remember him. Anytime they say her name, I'm gonna say his name. Say, oh, don't you feel for that woman? Not really. You know, I know anytime something happens to like somebody, you don't want to see that happen, but that they feel for her. So, oh, you're cruel. Well, I can be cruel if I want to. Can you? They can be cruel when they want to. Like when I said, they said I was anti-Semitic. I can't be if I want to. I'm not saying I am. I'm anti anybody who's anti-black. That's what I am. And Keith Porter don't mean nothing to other people, and other people don't mean nothing to me. You might not like it, but that's the way it is. Yeah, but we gotta start looking out for ourselves.
Keith Porter! Keith Porter!
Say his name, Keith Porter. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen. I know I went up into a lot of things. You know, I always do that because I could just talk so much about one subject so long. I want to thank you for tuning in. Be sure to tune in again and look. Let's watch out for ourselves, black folks. Let's watch out for our women and children. Your men that's got children. If you and the mother not together, you're gonna have to get a household together. if you just living separately, because the woman and your children, she gonna need some help or buy her a shotgun or something. Show her how to use it. We can't be letting these. They went right after they left from unaliving that woman in Minnesota. They went around to school shooting triggers at the school. People trying to get out of school. We can't let them do that to our children. Let's do like they did up in Lincoln Heights. The black men and women when white supremacists came there in a U-Haul truck, which is illegal for them to ride behind a U-Haul truck, but the police let them do it. The police even met them around the corner because black folks ran them out of there. And so taking their kids to school, the men and the women with body armor on and the sidearm and rifle. Where's the new Black Panther Party at? Those keep you guys in the purple march up and down the street. We ain't got time for no marching. We need security for our people. I see it coming. I see it coming. And if you see something like that, what happened in Los Angeles, that ICE guy shouldn't have walked away from it. Yes, he was out there shooting. I don't know. I shot up. I don't know where it came down at. I didn't see who did it. And he shouldn't have walked away from that. All you all out there with him. I'm sure he never was the only one out there shooting. Was all you savages, trios, G's, gangsters at? You only that way with your people. You harm your people in a minute. These other people, you're not going to do a damn thing to them. We let them unalive our people, our women. They want to march, and we need to let them do some marching. You harm someone in your family, they got an address. The law won't do nothing about it. They got an address. People tell me stop talking like that. They're going to come get you. Well, just the way it is. But, those people who do this stuff to you, justice don't run its course, they got an address. They find these black men down. I'm not going to sign off, but it's coming to mind. They have those black men down there. They're lynching them, finding black men like they're hanging themselves. I can say what you know, but all of a sudden now black men just hanging themselves. And you cry about it, we need to investigate. And do your own investigation, even if you don't investigate. Don't you have rope? Don't they have necks? You remember they used to say a long time ago, we can't find the N-word, we'll find a N-word. And we can't keep taking this. I may want to take it, but I'm not going to take it. Don't harm my people. They're not messing with none of my people. Y'all going to be reading about me. We just have to be ready for it. But it's not going to be, under this Trump regime, there's not going to be any justice. You have to create your own justice. So, that's what they want us to do. Well, they're going to get their wish. They mess with my folks. They're going to get their wish. See, I'm going to tell you why. See how strategic people getting? You see, when one of us do something to each other, we deal with it right then and there. But with other people, we get so strategic all of a sudden. Oh, it's more than one way to skin a cat. But it was just one way for you to skin that black cat when they did something to you. These other people, you get strategic. I used this example before where this Asian man punched a black woman in the face in his beauty supply store. The black men boycotted the store, had a boycott. The Asian man put up a sale. The Asian people run the store. 50% out on everything. The black woman stormed that store. Boycott over. So how can someone help you and you're doing something like that? You won't stay out of those stores. They mistreat you all the time. Want to fight with you, you let them beat you up. When you fight 2 or 3 black women, you let the little 90-pound Asian woman kick your butt. Yeah, that ain't right. But look, first of all, the black men, I don't agree with what they did. Let's say Leroy, the black man, owned that store. He punched that woman. Her husband, dad, and her brothers, or boo, so everybody would have been up there. Kicked that man's butt, and maybe even more than that, tore his store up and ran him out of business. Deal with them like you deal with yours. Those still in business. One woman out there boycotting with some, but it is a different situation. Some of the Asians on her apology, an apology. The hell with an apology. Get them out of business. Apologize for what? So they can stay in business and make some more money off of you? Down here on 38th and State Street in East St. Louis. This is my home city. I really like to be more national, worldwide. But to say this, that Asian restaurant, you made millionaires at those people since COVID. That place didn't used to have anyone in. It's something about black people when we think white people don't like somebody, we're supposed to support them. But they don't like us. That place have so many cars there. This happened after COVID. They used to hardly have anyone. They have so many cars there that they have traffic blocked. Then the one down on 24th and State, you go on the side, look in the back of that fence they got. They got a pen with cats in it. Y'all going to eat that stuff? I don't buy that stuff. I was at Ginger's a few years ago. If I do go somewhere, it'd be something like Ginger's. Then when you went to that, I won't even go there because how many black people did you see working at Ginger's? They won't even hire you, but they take your money. Do you know when the Arab stores, as you all say, Arabs, those stores became popular after 9/11? So we think if the white folks don't like them. Now, during 9/11, the first few days, they were being real nice to the black folks. They found out black people weren't going to do nothing. They went back to their old ways. See, then there was just so many stores they can open in a white neighborhood. Have you been in an Arab store in a white neighborhood? People of color, sort of Indians, and all them, when they're in a white neighborhood, they're a completely different creature. Watch how kind and courteous they are. They're savage in our neighborhoods because they know we're going to take it. We take something out for everybody. I know this was about Keith Porter, but we got so much going on with us. You can't hardly stick to one thing. Up at a panel, we stick to the subject, but I'm by myself. But look, I want you to see it again. You gotta say his name.
Keith Porter! Keith Porter!
Keith Porter, say his name. I want to thank you for tuning in to No More Water Fire next time. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and I will see you next time.
Porter.